You will now enter the conference. Muted. Welcome to WBNN tonight. Of course, your proprietor, Dr. Ladella Malay Mendoza. Welcome to another edition of Walking in Purpose with Angela, the 2023 International Interracial Hall of Fame broadcasting enshrined. Now, of course, we're broadcasting live at the Beaver downtown Lagos, Nigeria, streaming from homes of 2013 in Roswell, Pennsylvania, United States of America. Make sure all lines are clear. Unmuted. Angie, I'm having a question on the line, so I'll make sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, very good. All right, I'm glad I can hear you. So we go ahead and start. Quado set the call letters, y'all, WBN in Nigeria, 4 seconds. Recording started.
Well, good evening, and welcome to Walk in Purpose with Queen Angela. And are you living or just existing? Welcome to Walking in Purpose with Queen Angela. We're tuned in to our 44,234th presentation of Ngozi Time Multimedia LLC, where destiny meets everyday decisions. I am Queen Angela, the 2023 International Internet Radio Hall of Fame broadcaster and the Anna Waddell Host of the Year for 2023. We are live on the WBNN Beverly Nation from the vibrant city of Lagos, Nigeria. You can call in and join the conversation by dialing 717-734-6904 or 605-562-0444. Access code 546-1150 #. Press £1 to enter the studio and to speak live with us tonight. Simply press *2 to join the chat. Or you can tune in on the web, www.talkshoe.com. Search WBNN Beverly Nation. Tonight, I am honored to have two amazing guests with us on tonight. We have Dr. LaDonna Marie and man of God Marco Griggs. They will be sharing their journey, their hard win, and lessons, the practice that keep them aligned. So grab your favorite drink, find a comfortable space, and get ready to be educated, empowered, and encouraged. Our topic tonight: are you living a purposeful life or are you just existing? Existing is a motion without meaning. Purpose is direction with conviction. Ephesians 2:10 says, "For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus unto good works, which God hath before ordained that we shall walk in them." We are crafted with intentions to do good works. God has prepared for you to walk in them. Tonight, we invite you to examine your life and step into a deeper clearer, and more courageous version of you. What is purpose? Purpose is your why, your unique reason for being that connects your gift to a need in this world. It's not just what you do, it's the impact that you are designed to make and the values you refuse to compromise. What is purposeful living? Purposeful living is the daily practice of aligning your time, your talent, and your temperament with your mission. It looks like clarity in decision, courage in action, and consistency in habits, in your contributions to others. Three questions I want you to ponder as we bring our guest up and we join this conversation. First, I want you to think about, if nothing could stop you in your work and blessing others, what would you pursue first? Secondly, where does your time, energy, and spending not match your stated values? And what's one change you would like to make this week? Not next week, but this week. And who are you called to serve right now? And what is one simple step you would take in the next 24 hours? I am going to bring up my first guest, Dr. LaDonna Marie. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How are you?
I am great. I can't complain. I won't complain. No need complaining. I tell you, it's always an honor and a
Amen.
privilege to be in the midst of you. Um, while we're waiting on our other guests to show up, I want you to let those that may not know who you are to find out who you are today. So if you would share, who is Dr. LaDonna Marie?
Thank you so much. Well, Dr. LaDonna Marie is a international multi-award winning author, woman of God, child of God, life coach. Personal development is the specialty, and also a pastor, loving and helping other people. I started writing books around the age of 14. At this point in my life, I was learning who I was in God and learning who He had called me to be, which was to empower and impact the lives of people. He wanted to heal me first, and then He wanted the books that I have written to help to heal others. And so I've spent my entire life, over 27 years from the age of 14 up until now, pouring all that God has asked me to in the 14 books that I've self-published and the 15 that I've co-authored with others around the world. I love speaking empowerment, uplift, and encouragement into people. That's one of the things as I look back over my life that I needed as a young teen. Just feeling misunderstood because of the purpose that God had placed on my life, and so now in life, I live to help people to know that they can overcome obstacles. I live, and my purpose and my why is to let them know that they're not alone and that they're not stuck, that there's a way with God's hand, and also with you putting in the work and the resources that God has given you to be able to move from where you are. And so LaDonna Marie has just I've been evolving ever since I stepped on the scene when I wrote my first book in 2010 was my first freshman book, but in 2008 I branched out to put my poems in the world to help to encourage others. And the poetry that I do, I know a long time ago, back in the day, I used to get on the poetry lines and I would be on there with everyone and, just listen to them with their gifts. But the way that God had trained me is that my poems will always meet people where they were, but they also would help them to heal the places that they needed. And so, although the Lord was always pushing me to do the things that He had called me to do, I found it just uplifting to be in a space where there were other people who were, sharing their gifts, but we all were fulfilling our purpose. And so Dr. LaDonna Marie is an encourager. I'm an uplifter, and I'm also a person that helps you to grow, to know that you can be restored and that your life can be transformed if you feel like you have gotten to a place where there's, no way forward. I'm there to help you to find that way.
Well, you're definitely someone that I can say is walking in purpose. I've had the privilege of meeting you in person, and I tell you that was truly an honor.
Yeah.
She is such a small person in stature, but the things that this young lady has done and what she pours into this world, you would think she stood 7 foot tall and had some weight on her. But when I tell you, if you look at her, I call Chavita my half pint, but she too is my half pint. I have a picture with her, and she looks like a child compared to me. But I tell you, she packs a powerful, oh my God, a powerful spirit, a powerful anointing that I have definitely seen blossom since the time that I have been knowing her. She definitely is someone that encourages, and I may not speak to her often, but I see her doing so many amazing things. I see this lady, she's been to Paris, she's been to London, she's been to so many different places and able to share the gift that God has given her, and not ashamed to acknowledge him and to keep him first. And congratulations on your nuptials. She's a newlywed, I would say.
Yes, thank you so much.
But I definitely, I have watched you and I see what you do. I don't know if you mentioned that you teach at a university, and what you do. I've seen you pour into those kids, even with your nonprofit that you have. When I tell you, she has her hand in a lot, and she's definitely being purposeful in her why. I see it all over her. So when you decided to start your nonprofit, what was the reasoning for starting your nonprofit?
There was a poem that the Lord kept putting in my spirit, and I actually had written it 2 times, and the poem was called "Setting the Captives Free." And so I wrote it one time, and then I wrote it again. Me and one of my author friends, his name is PK Ware, we did a book called Triumph together, and they were just powerful poems downloaded from God for both of us, and so we collabed together to put it in there. But the poem was called "Setting the Captives Free," and I can remember I was in my home in Georgia at the time, and the Lord was just talking to me, and He said, "I want you to help me to set my children free." He said, "I want you to help me to plant, positive seeds in their lives like I have done for you." And for many of you out there, that are listening out there, in my times when I was a teenager, I attempted to commit suicide, but it was the Lord's hand on my life who didn't let me become a statistic. He actually saved me. He showed me a flash of light of who He was creating me to be, because I was a 14-year-old kid and I didn't know anything. I just knew life was hard. And, I felt like I was coming up against everything, even at the age of 14. And so He showed me my purpose. He showed me, going around the world. He showed me helping people. He showed me pouring into others. And when He did that for me when I was younger, when He asked me in 2014 to start the nonprofit, that is the reason why. He said, "I need you to do exactly for others what I did for you. And even there's a scripture that says that, I plant, you water, but God brings the increase. And even with people, you don't even have to take them the whole course. But if you start with them, if you start encouraging or start them to have an opposite, the next person will come and water it, and then God will make them or be whoever they've been created to be. And so I've had that in my heart ever since I started the nonprofit, to pour into women and girls who may feel like they've been misunderstood, to pour into the woman that they are and the young lady that they are, so that they can grow up to know that they're loved by God, and not, even if they've gotten into situations of abuse or anything, or molestation, or suicide, just depression or anything, that God loves them, and that they're the only person. He created them with an individual identity, and who they are, no one else in the world can be. So He needs them to be that person. And so when I do Planting Positive Seeds and the conferences, and I do the summit and the retreat for the younger, always with restoration in mind. It's always with the empowerment tools in mind. It's always helping them to have their aha moment of understanding where they are is not where they will always be. And so for Planting Positive Seeds, I think we've been around since 2013, and I've been lucky to be able to sow into the people's lives in Africa, because I've also gone to Africa to do missions, and God pulled on my heart to show them also that they matter in whatever situations they may be going through, even like donating undergarments, toiletries, and also uniforms. So Planting Positive Seeds has reached out to help many people in our neighborhoods. During COVID time, we went to the nursing home to help those who couldn't see their loved ones. We sent them, just self-care and love packages. We've done different things to just make our mark in the world, just to plant that seed of hope, plant that seed of love, plant that seed of encouragement. And so the nonprofit, I'm always looking for sponsors, and I'm looking for ways. But when I tell you that God never lets me not miss the beat, because He'll send someone, or He'll help me in some way to shine light, even in my time when I feel like I'm not hitting the mark. He'll still show me that I'm making a difference, because this is what He asked me to do. Just plant the seed, and He will do the rest. And so the nonprofit has been, teaching, encouraging. We've also did an initiative where we were giving scholarships to young girls who were going to school, just to let them know that they're loved and they're cared about, and if they needed some extra funds to help them with their books. So we've done a lot of things that I've tried to maintain, even as I have been going for these 10 years plus. So thank you so much for just, having me to expound on that. But He wanted me to help set the captives free. And I told God, I was like, God, that we are, because I was in that category, that we were a tough category of people, because there are a lot of people that suffer in silence. There are a lot of people that will hold their story because they are humiliated, or they are shameful, or they feel guilty for things that have happened that was done to them, and not because it was something that they attracted. And so I just ask Him always, God, continue to just encourage my heart to never give up, to keep moving, because there's someone out there that needs that encouragement. There's someone out there that needs me to continue to plant that positive seed in their life daily.
Wow, that's definitely that's powerful. And I often tell individuals that I hope that there's something that I share with them, because my whole desire is to be that change that I want to see in this world. And I hope to do that through educating, empowering, and encouraging. So every time I come on one of these platforms, whether it's on this network, on another network, or just going live on one of the platforms, I hope that I can sow a seed into someone that they will be able to produce fruit from it, from the word, because he's given us everything that we need. I'm reminded of Genesis 2:7 when he said he breathed that breath of life into us. I truly believe that everything that we need is deposited in us, and we just need to nourish it. We just need to tap into it. And sometimes we need that person to come along and water it. Sometimes we need that person to come along and till out the weeds and prune out the whatever it is. And sometimes we need somebody to be that soil. We need somebody to be that soil and to be that water. And he's always going to give the increase, and he's going to allow that fruit to come forth. But we got to be willing to do that work and to allow his word to manifest in our life. That just having faith without works is dead. And I tell people all the time, you got to do something. You can't just sit and expect something to come falling out the skies, because there's no white horse coming to save us. If you want to be saved, you got to save yourself. And how do you do that? But yet through living out his word and living a purpose-filled life. We got caller number one. We have caller number one in queue. We're going to see who caller number one is. Caller number one, if you would, identify yourself and where you're calling in from, please.
Hey, it's Des calling in from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Hi, Des, and happy belated birthday.
Hey. Hi. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I just want to call in and give you a moment of support. I don't really have anything to add, but I love the conversation tonight. And that's pretty much it.
Well, I always want to ask a question when someone calls in. What is your why? What is your why for what you do? Because you are an amazing host here on the WBNN. So what is your why?
Thank you. Well, I look at my grandparents, and everything that I've learned has disappointed me about them. And I've spent a lot of time in reflection and thought, thinking about this community here in Little Rock. I particularly live in an area of Little Rock that is very close to Central, or the Little Rock 9 integrated the school. And I think about what my parents and grandparents did and didn't do in order to prevent people from moving forward and having a better future. And my why is, being in community with other white folks to try and get them to turn the other direction. Take a look in the mirror. And that we can undo what we've done. But you have to make the personal choice. And in other words, with what you were saying along, participate in your own rescue. Will you participate in your own rescue? It's time to think a little differently, start doing things differently, start being better people. That's what I'm about. That's my why. Does that make sense?
Yes. That is powerful, especially with a lot of the things that's happening right now. That is very important. I appreciate what you do and what you bring to this network. So thank you for just being Des and willing to take that journey and to allow people to see your why, and allowing it to come forth, and not just be someone that's sitting and hoping that something happens, but you're out here doing something about what you would desire to see in this world, and that's what we have to do. So I applaud you and I thank you for chiming in. Before you go, I would like for you to tell individuals how they can tune into your next show, and when is your next show?
Absolutely. So my next show is on September 4th 8:30 Central Standard Time, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. And the next show is about dismantling white supremacy within finance. Be having on the show again for our third time, Sheena Horton, who is a financial professional out in Compton, California. And tomorrow night, I'm going to be featured as the guest on Mr. Hooney's show. And then on September 5th, I'm going to be the featured guest on Mr. Moody's show, General Moody.
Awesome. Definitely will be chiming in to catch those shows. Dr. LaDonna, do you have anything that you would like to ask Sister Des?
No, but I just wanted to tell her to thank her for her yes, and thank you for seeing what needed to be done and just stepping into it and making sure that you are making your mark on the world. So I just wanted to just commend you and say thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Well, thank you for stopping by.
You're welcome.
And sharing with us on tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, you have a good evening. So, Dr. LaDonna, I know that you are an author and you have co-authored some books. So what was your first book, first of all? I know you said you did poetry, but what was your first book that you wrote? And why did you write that book?
So the first book was called Expressions of the Mind, Body, and Soul. And I wrote this book because I felt that there were a lot of things, because I was always in tune to how, we work, like everything works together. And so it's like your mind will think something, your body will react, and your soul is, if it's down in there, it's going to continue to, resonate until you either change it for good or for bad. And so at that point in my life, really before, I wrote this in 2010, I published in 2010, but in 2005, Hurricane Katrina had happened on the Gulf Coast. That's where I used to live. And I had been writing poetry like all of my life. So I had all of my poems in a folder. I used to just love to read them because I always did dream of being a writer at a young age. I just didn't have all of the information. I probably thought, because I had heard that it was going to be such a, big reach for a little black, girl at the time when I was younger, but I still kept it with me. And it was something that I constantly talked to the Lord about. And so when 2005 came and Hurricane Katrina came, my apartment did get water, but me and my dog, we were able to make it, to safety. And when I came back and I saw like the devastation everywhere, and I went back to my apartment and I went in my closet because I actually had just moved there. I was, maybe 3 months out of college, and then, moving into a new apartment, hadn't even put everything up. But my poems were in my closet and they were on the floor, and they had gotten wet. And when I went in there and looked at them, but they were still legible. And so I stood there in the closet and I said, Lord, if you have kept these poems for me to come back and be able to read them, be able to see them, then I am going to do something with them, because you could have just let them go in the devastation. They could have just not been here. And so I felt like there was the Lord honoring the writer in me, honoring the person that he had created me to be, which was an encourager, which was someone who wasn't ashamed to be vulnerable, but was depending on God to show me a way to heal and make it to the next spot. And so finally, I put one poem out in a contest in 2008, and it went into this book called The League of American Poets. It actually was a poem. And so they decided to publish it. I said, okay, that's great. 2009, I tried again. I just released another poem and I put it there, and they wanted to put me in another anthology. And then I had a conversation with God. I said, Lord, if they are really as good and people want them to put them in anthologies, I was like, help me, do a book of my own. Like, I want to have a complete book of all of my poetry. And so I sat there. Maybe it took me a year to get it together. I took like 50 other poems that I had been writing since like 1998 when I first started, and I took the rest of them from then on all the way to 2010, and I combined them. And the book Expressions of the Mind, Body, and Soul came out of it because my whole thing is I wanted to help people to understand how everything was in connection, that we go through different things, and that it happens in our minds, but then we do also feel it in our soul and in our body. And each poem was helping to just show and feel the realities of life. Some poems were when I was sad, or when God downloaded a poem into me that really needed to be said. I even wrote a poem at the time about Barack Obama's inauguration. So I just put everything that I had been working on at that time, and I put it in the book because I wanted to achieve me being an author. Like, this is something that I wanted all of my life. And so Expressions of the Mind, Body, and Soul was that book. I would like to share a poem, the first poem in the book, which is called Inner Beauty. And this is a poem in which where I know I was in ninth grade because I have this, I was in like shop when I was in high school, and so I had this wood, and I had one of my teachers to write this poem. I wrote the poem. I had her to put it on there. I had a picture of myself, and I made it to look like a just like a frame. But the poem reads, it says, Inner Beauty. Many folks may not see where my inner beauty lies. It's eternal, everlasting, residing inside. Many mountains and hills of obstacles to climb, conquering each one, claiming the victory mine. This wide open space of life for me to see, unknown places and people waiting for me to meet. There's a struggle each day just to make it through, sometimes pushed into a corner not knowing what to do. But with my will to do better, by believing in myself, never measuring my success through the value of money nor wealth. I'm an optimist, you see, believing I'm bound to great things, while I cheerfully enjoy this world and the treasure that it brings, inner beauty.
Wow.
And so that is maybe the first that I wrote, just
That's awesome. That's
being
awesome.
able to communicate how I was feeling in life. Unmuted.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
And we have
Thank
caller
you.
number 2 in queue. We want to see who caller number 2 is and where they're calling from. Caller number 2, if you would please
Hello.
state your name and where you're calling from, please.
Hello, my Queen Angela. It's Ava Holly calling from just outside of Atlantic City, New Jersey. How are you this evening and your honored guest?
I am
Hi.
fine. How are you?
Hi, I loved your poem. I don't know which guest read that, but your guests are amazing, and I'm enjoying the conversation. So, just to share a little bit with you and stem on something that Des said, I think every day we have an opportunity to wake up and make ourselves better and make the world better. So I love your phrase, be the change you want to see in the world, because I say that all the time. And, our hopes, our dreams, and our whys may change from time to time. So let me share this with you. 2.5 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer, diabetes, and a bad cataract all at the same time. And not to go into depth about anything, but I had a a dream at that point. And I've been working for 2.5 years on that why, and that hasn't happened yet. That doesn't stop me from continuing to find that. And it doesn't stop me from waking up and trying to make someone's life better every single day. And I think that it's so important that the people that do that lift others as they climb. So I appreciate your topic tonight. I appreciate your guests, and I'm honored to be here to say hello and support your show.
Exactly. And then sometimes I just want to say this to you. Sometimes things don't always happen at the pace that we want them to happen. But we have to understand that it's always in God's timing, because He may have something greater than what you are expecting. And it may be the delay that will allow you to get into that greater space that He wants you to be in. So understand that delay does not mean denial, but He could be protecting you for something, or He can be opening the door for something bigger. So that's how I look at it.
Correct.
So
Yep, everything leads you to where you are. I agree. That the why could change at any time and any moment, and I still think we have an opportunity every day to work on that and to be better people.
And we just have to be adaptable, willing to adapt to that He is doing, because He already know what the end is going to be. We just taking it day by day, because we not promised tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I thank you for sharing that with us. If you would tell everybody how they can tune in and when is your next show.
Sure. And I do want to shout out that I've been in Angela's book before, so I am also an author and a poet, and been doing that my whole life. Yeah. So my show's coming up on the 27th. We have a very interesting guest coming on. So if you can tune in, the Casual Chat on the Stories Network, WBNN, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you, Angela. Love you.
Thank you. Love you too. So yes, we are poets too. You'll probably hear a few people that may come on the line that are poets. I did not realize that I had that gift until I was a part of a prayer line, and the young lady that ran the prayer line, she was having a prayer conference, and she asked me to do a poem. Never did a poem before, but I did that poem, and it took me about 2 days to do that poem for her, and she really loved it. She wanted me to put it on to print it out and to put it in a frame, and I printed it out, put it in a frame, and I sent it to her. And ever since then, I have been dabbling in poetry. I think now I may have about I think about 15 or 18 poetry anthologies, because I do anthologies because I believe in giving individuals an opportunity to share their voice, because they may not have a book, they may not have all of the poems like you had, but they have something that they want to share. So I open up that door and allow them to share through anthologies. We are currently working on a series. There's a 3-book series that's going to be coming out, and it's called The Echoes of Becoming. The first book to that series is called Shattered Silence, and it's going to drop on September the 1st. We have 6 poets and myself sharing inside of that anthology, and I'm just grateful, because I didn't realize I had that talent, and it was me going through and in on my bed of affliction. Just asking God to raise me up and allow me a chance to share His goodness, and He allowed me to do that through books and sharing in books. Because I tell people all the time, I'm not a theologian. I don't walk in the office, but I share from my experience the things that He's allowed me to come through, so that I can help somebody else get through. And He gave me that outlet, so I utilize that outlet a lot to encourage other people to come out of what they're going through. I had one of my hosts on the network who was battling depression and grief, and I just told her to pick up a pen and write. And she did. And she wrote in 3 of my anthologies, and she just released her own book. So I just encourage individuals to share their voice and allow their voice to be heard, because you never know what that next person is standing in need of. And we got caller number 3 in queue. Caller number 3. if you would, state your name and where you're calling in from.
Hi, Angela. It's not the ordinary, it's unique. I'm calling from Texas, and I was calling to support your show. And you have a wonderful show tonight. And, everybody has their whys. You got to align your actions with what your deepest motivations and values are. It helps you find direction and fulfillment, and it helps you find your reason for being here on earth and how you can help others. And I just wanted to let you know I appreciate your show and what you're saying tonight, and your guests are making some key factors and key points, and you are as well. And I just wanted to let you know, thank you for all you've done. And I'll always support you, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be on WBNN. I wouldn't be able to co-author in books with you and just write my own books. And I just want to let you know, while I have the breath in my body and while you're living and breathing, that I love you and I wish you nothing but the best. And my next show will be next Tuesday, the 26th. Plus, I'm also on WBNN, www.podbean.com with Dr. O and Rosie each Saturday night, 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern. Is there anything you would like to ask me or your guest?
Well, I have a question that I would
Wait
like.
a minute, I gotta come on and say something. hold on, Angie. And welcome, Dr. LaDonna. How are you? This is Dr. Olagalino. Listen, great time to announce this, but we have just expanded on Podbean. We have our first host, part of I9 Industries. He will be starting on, let's get this right here. He'll be starting on September the 10th. His name is Key Music, and he'll be doing a variety, another DJ, a variety of music. He'll be doing interviews. So, Angie, our tree is growing over at Podbean. So we have our first host, part of Unique and I's wonderful tree. How about that, Unique?
That's a blessing, Dr. O. It's wonderful.
That is great. That is awesome. Giving individuals an opportunity to express and share. I'm grateful for Dr. O, because if it was not for Dr. O, I wouldn't have my network and the 10 hosts that I have. He's really poured into me. I was a guest on this network, and he saw something in me. And this was 5 years ago. It'll be 6 years in May. 6 years in April coming up. And he saw something in me, and he gave me an opportunity to be a part of this network. So I'm grateful, and every chance that I get, I'm sharing it with others, because I believe in paying it forward. Because if I leave here tomorrow, have I done what he called me to do? And am I leaving this world with things that I should have poured into the world? No, when I lay down at night, I want to be empty. I want to have given all that I can give for that day. So, Sister Unique, question for you. Where does your time, energy that you spend match with your values? And if not, what change would you like to see in catching up with your purpose?
Well, Queen Angela, I would like to say me catching up with my purpose is a fundamental belief and motive of my actions of what I do in everyday life. I match up what truly matters to me and who matters to me, and I let what I do line up with why I do it. And it should always line up with your core values to help you be a better you. It's no big eyes and no little U's with me. I try to love on everybody each chance I get and let them tell their purpose, let them have a voice to speak and know who they are, because every day is not a good day. Like right now, today is not a good day
for me, but I'm pushing through to my purpose. I'm helping those that need a voice that don't have a voice. And that's one thing that I can say that you have truly taught me. And I can't discredit you for that because I appreciate you and I just love who you are as an individual because even a lot of hurt people don't have to hurt people. A lot of people don't have to be mean and hateful. They don't have to discredit people just to put themselves on a platform. You always look out for your guests. You always look out for the people you come across. And Dr. O as well. And that's what made me a better me. And yes, I'm glad to be a part of the 3-book anthology. The first one, Shattered Silence, because there's a lot of times people can't say what they want to say, but they can use a pen to put it into words to express who they are. And I just want to let you know, you keep doing what you do, and I hope God keep blessing you on your journey. And it helps other people learn how to live again and help them find their direction. And that's what I have for you tonight. And thank you so much.
So do you have a poem that you would like to share tonight, poetess?
One of my poems that I would like to share tonight is that we can't be a better us until we learn how to be who we are as an individual. One of my poems that I like to, I'm trying to not to break, but one of my poems is, hope is a better tomorrow, like a sunflower swaying in the wind. It's better to live in a world with no sorrow, learning to seize the moment that has no end. Hope gives us a vision of your true fulfillment and life's potential, removing anything that does not line up that isn't essential. Learning things that in life may be temporary, but we all have our own crosses to carry. Hope is like a dark place in overcoming sadness. Hope is dancing in the rain. Even tough roads is like the rugged terrain. Strong spirits drive out a form of constant pain, given without an ounce of strain. Hope is seeing a flower bloom. Faces light up when you enter the room. People come and go, but your flower will always blossom and grow. Hope is letting go of past situation and learning to live again, opening up new doors and new beginnings. Hope gives you to music to sing your own song, even when things are going so wrong. Hope goes out like the sea, like the shore and sea, bringing treasures that you've never seen. Hope gives you strength, like trees swinging back and forth. We all have hope in the life we must continue, uplifting hands for those still going down the many slopes. That is what my hope is. Thank you, Angela.
Well, thank you for stopping by and sharing with us on tonight. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I tell you, we got some gifted individuals. I was listening to you earlier, Dr. LaDonna, and you mentioned that you never imagine a little black girl being able to share as an author. Those are one of those stigmas that a lot of us have, and we think that it's so difficult. But I tell you, I thank God for just being who He said He would be in our lives and opening doors so that we can learn how to self-publish. it took me getting taken advantage of to learn how to self-publish. And when I tell you God has showed up and showed out, he's allowed me to be able to publish over 150 literary works through magazines,
Oh,
through
wow.
anthologies, through I have even a few
Mhm.
books of my own that I have done on my own. I've done some inspirational devotions. I even wrote 2 poetry books by myself. But my um,
Wow.
most of my literary works have been anthologies, because again, I love to allow individuals a chance to share their voice, because again, everybody don't have a lot. They don't have a whole book. But once they begin to share in these anthologies, you soon find out that they really do have that whole book. They just needed that encouragement. They just needed that push.
Uh-huh.
And I
Yeah.
have seen you get award after award after award after award for your literary works. I just saw you out in Phoenix, Arizona, receiving an amazing
Yeah.
award. Um, Tell us about that journey and how that has been.
Thank you so much. It happened just I always talk to God about, the books that I write and in the audience and people that he has in mind to read them. And so when I finished with the book and I published it in December, I was like, Lord, I want it to, get a broader audience. Not just because where I'm from, I moved back to Mississippi, and I was like, Lord, there's more competition than there's help. And there's more people, trying to one up you than just coming together to support you. And so I always have to, just like Jesus, prophet is not honored in his own home. And so I always tell God, I was like, take me to the places or put me in places that people can get what you've given me to give. And so the opportunity came before me, and my book was actually nominated for the International Book Award. And, always I just said, God, let your will be done. And I left it. And then 1 month, they came back and said, you won the award. And I was like, okay, God. I was like, look, thank you so much, because I'm going to give you glory on this platform so that people can hear the true reason why I wrote it and who's it for, and et cetera, et cetera. And as I won that award, God asked me to go on the webpage, and I went on the webpage, and I found out, Angela, that I had won in a category of 70 other people.
Wow.
And I cried, and I said, God, I thank you for keeping me focused on doing what you've asked me to do, because I'm very diligent in hearing and listening and waiting. I've told people, all my life that I don't write unless God tells me to. I wait to have it, divinely downloaded. That's how I've always done it. So I don't, if I just write, I just write. And he has to say, this poem goes to this book. And even when I was younger, that's how I categorized it. I put, poetry, love, encouragement, children's, self-help. I put it all in different places. And he had to put it together in the way that he wanted to. And so even when I was doing lessons, 3 Confident Conversations, which is the last book in the series of the lessons books that I have. So the first one was Lessons, Shadow Pieces Being Restored. The second one was Lessons, Mirror Conversation. And then the last one was Lessons, Confident Conversations. And they're all poetry books. But it was like a building of, here I was in the first book, as just the poetry, needing to be, those pieces were broken and God was putting them back together and he was restoring them. And then in Mirror Conversation, it was a point where you had to look in the mirror and not do the blame game, but you had to see what you were responsible for so that you could grow from the things that you've gone through. And then when Confident Conversations came, it was like now you're at a space where you can stand 10 toes down and say, I know this, I've learned this, I know not to do this. I know who I am. I know whose I am. And you could speak with that confidence on whatever God has given you. And so the books were just a gradual growth to how God wants us to navigate through lessons. And so when I won that award, all of that took place in my heart and my mind because I just was thankful that I stayed on target. And so when I went to Phoenix, it was an amazing moment, and they wanted us to write a speech, and I was like, Lord, you know me, I don't really write speeches. I always ask the Holy Ghost to go before me, even as I did before I started this. I always ask him to go before me, make my crooked path straight, allow the words that I say to be what the person needs to hear. So it's not scripted. I don't write down things. I just flow with the Holy Ghost because I've had a million conversations with him by myself. And sometimes it's almost like he's teaching me how, or we're having a conversation that I will later have in an interview or that I will later refer to when I'm speaking to someone. And so Lessons Conversations, I did that when I went up to say, to give my thanks and to let them know, truthfully what God had wanted to be known in Confident Conversations and how, he wants our voice to be strong and to be bold, and he wants us to be unashamed because he loves us, and that we're in this life to go through and to grow through. And so, and that he would never leave us or forsake us. And so it was so many things, but the book touched on different life sections, and it was one section was life and the other section was God. And so I just thought that it was a great finale for my lessons series, and I was grateful and honored to win that award.
Well, definitely congratulations. And I too, here recently, I was selected to be in a poetry anthology out of South Carolina. I've been submitting poems to this.
Awesome.
I've been submitting poems to this organization for the last 5 years because at that particular time I was living in Myrtle Beach and I was submitting poems. Mm-hmm. Well, I of course moved back to Atlanta last year and had been living in Atlanta for the last year, and they decided to accept one of my poems to get published in this anthology. Our book actually is going to release this weekend. We're having a book release in Charleston, South Carolina. I tell you, when you show up and do what God has called you to do, he will open doors for you that you never even imagined, because you're talking about a little old girl that has been through domestic violence, has been through the suicide attempts and all of that. So I can definitely relate when you were talking about attempting suicide. I could definitely relate to that because I've done it not just once or twice. I forgot how many times I've tried to take my own life, but God had better for me. He had another plan for me, and to see the things that he is allowing, even on the first part of this week, I got invited to sit on a panel in November at the Charleston County Library. So I'll be in Charleston, South Carolina, sitting on a panel talking about being a self-published author and what that journey has been like. Because I never imagined doing any of this stuff. Not even being a podcaster, having a magazine, even having my own network. I never imagined that. You talking about a little old girl from Levelland, South Carolina, a place that people never heard of. And I stutter. I just had all these things that were going against me, but God. But God. And if you're willing, I think it's over in Exodus. If you're willing, if you just open your mouth, he'll give you what to say. And if you just go, he'll show you where to go. And when I began to walk in that, I I began to catch up with my purpose. You know, Jeremiah 29:11 was dropped in my spirit in December 2012. And then I would go through domestic violence and I question, well, God, what truly is my purpose? You know, I know this is not my purpose, but he began to reveal things to me. I realized that it was necessary for me to have to go through those things so that I can be able to do the things that I'm doing now. If I not experienced those things, how could I tell somebody else how to get through? So he allowed me to
Right.
get through
Yes.
so that I can help somebody else get through. I tell you, I'm just excited
Yes.
about what he's doing, and I see you doing all this stuff. You had an opportunity to go to Paris. You had an
Yes.
opportunity to go to Africa. You've had these different opportunities. What does your students think about all of the things that you're doing?
Some of them is like, why are you still here? But they're really excited about it because they see that, you know, me answering the call for the need, to do things and to stay focused on what God has me to do in life. And so a lot of them are very, very excited, and they become determined to follow, you know, what it is that they've been created to do. Having the hard conversations, but also being able to look inside themselves and just reflect, you know, when they feel like they've gone astray, when they feel like they need to come back and get back grounded and then move. And so it's been a blessing to be able to model how to, because I know I've been through so many things, and I just thank God that I'm still standing. Just yesterday, I had a prophetess and her daughter speaking to my life, and they just told me how much they could feel that God was proud of me for everything that I have continued to do. And it brought me to tears, and it's almost about to bring me to tears now, because I told them I'm first generation ministry in my life. So I was the first person that answered the call and to say ministry. But as I grew up, I just knew I wanted to do what God said. If he wanted me to encourage, I was there. If he wanted me to uplift, I was there. If he wanted me to pray, I was there. And so for me, I didn't need a title. I just needed to move into the purpose. And so, as you said earlier, poems and poetry, you know, was my first love back in the day. I just wrote, you know, so much. And so I'm grateful that I'm able to, you know, continue to make God smile and to make him happy, because I do want to hear, you know, not good and faithful servant, you know, well done. And so I'm glad that I can model that in front of my students, just to show them, you know, we can still be grounded, and we can still, you know, follow Christ, and we can still do the things that he's put us on the earth, because there's someone out there that's waiting on us, and they're waiting on our yes. And so I'm humbled always just to be able to be in an opportunity to help to just encourage others daily, when I'm just, you know, being who I've been created to be.
Well, you are definitely doing that. And I thank you so much for just showing up and allowing God to do what he said he would do in all of our lives. Um, I want you to share with the listeners how they can follow you, how they can support you, how they can get some of your books.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. You can follow me on Facebook under LaDonna Marie. I'm on there, and also LaDonna Marie Books is the page where I share my books and different things that I'm doing. I'm also on Instagram under I am LaDonna Marie _. I'm on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, under LMB Poetry. So that's LaDonna Marie Books Poetry, because I just knew that poetry was going to be, you know, what I was going to be doing forever. And so God just gave me other things to do. You can also go to my website, which is www LaDonnaMarie.org. And if you will go over to the shop page, I have all of my books there. You can purchase them there. I will autograph them and send them to you as soon as you send that order in. I'm just so grateful. And speaking of podcasts, I also do have a podcast of my own, which is called Inspirational Talks with LaDonna Marie, and it airs bi-weekly now on Mondays, on Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, and other places. But it's called Inspirational Talks with LaDonna Marie, and I have people who come on who share their journey, who share their growth, who share their triumphs, and also things that they had to overcome. And just like many of your hosts, I love that we're helping others to share their story and giving them a safe space to show what God has done in their life and to encourage someone else to know that they can make it. And so thank you so much again for this wonderful opportunity. And congratulations, Angela, for everything. You know, it was an honor to meet you when I did, because I feel like we've been social media connected for so long. And it's always a blessing to see, you know, everything that you have been doing. You know, this is one of the many things that I've, you know, been on with you, but I'm just so thankful that God has continued to keep us connected. And I really wish you the best in every endeavor that you will put your hands to work to do, and that God continues to bless you 100-fold.
Well, I receive it, and I thank you. I thank you for that. I would love for you to share another piece of your poetry, if you don't mind blessing us.
Sure. I will read something out of the latest one, Lessons 3, and Confident Conversations. And I'm going to read the poem called I Am the Vessel. And I felt like all the time writing poetry, I would always give God glory, because we are the vessels that He chooses to use so these words can come out. And so this poem is entitled I Am the Vessel. When the heavens open up and pour out a blessing or offer us a correction, God uses us to speak to the multitudes and spread His bread to every ear that will hear, who will in turn be a doer of His word. For Jesus is the shepherd, and we are His sheep. Follow the path that He has laid out before thee. For in John 4:16, the word says, I am the way, I am the truth, and the life. No other one comes to the Father but through me. Can you say, Jesus? Oh, how I love the name Jesus, for if I don't cry out, the rocks will cry out in my place. So today I cry out, glory, hallelujah, because He is worthy. I stand firm daily as I come face to face with temptations, doubt, anger, and a lack of self-control, while holding on from the trickery of the devil, a fallen, disobedient angel, who the name of the game was defeat. He tried to take us out, to kill our joy, to make us lose our victory. His only aim was to have us to remain in discord and rightfully miss our way, our trip to heaven. I am the vessel, and Jesus is the shepherd. Thus, we are His sheep. God's will is that we love and abide in He, our Father, who art in heaven, who brings forth the word called good news. I am the vessel.
Wow. Now that's that piece. I like that. I really love that.
Thank you.
And anytime anybody, I love showing God honor. I love, that's the one thing that I always want to do. You know, I everything we do should point back to Him, and that's what you're doing. That is what you're doing, and I'm grateful to have you here. And we have caller number 4 in queue. Caller number 4, if you would please tell me where you're calling from and state your name.
Hey, peace. My tribe full name is Huni Barkatoon, and my pen stage name is Master Magic Man Haru. How you doing, spiritual daughter of mine and International Internet Radio Hall of Fame, Enshrine Me, author Angela Thomas, along with a special honor guest. How all of y'all doing tonight?
We blessed.
Blessed. How are you?
Can't complain.
Well, I definitely can tell that. I definitely can tell that. Multiple talents, I tell you. Strong content and delivery and transmission, from what I heard thus far. What's so unique about spoken word is just the power of being able to form a thought and to be able to express that thought in the form of written as well as spoken word really said something. And it's something that we haven't did enough thanks to our bondage for 400 years. But when I look at this day and time of 400-year bondage that ended in 2019, and here we are in 2025, almost 2026. So we really just have 6 years coming up out of our bondage, and to be able to hear such remarkable talents, faithful men and women of God is really showing up and showing out. So I definitely want to call and show my divine love and support. And matter of fact, as always, when your show ends, mine begin. My regular We Will Aware You show will be tomorrow. And I, along with my special honored guest, Des, of the broadcasting show here at WBNN U-Turn, we will be talking about homeless people who are homeless. And I tell you, it's a subject that I'm going to reveal a lot about my personal journey, but it's very important that everybody tune in, because the person who's blowing the trumpet is making some of the most ridiculous statements. And just like many people with this follow me mentality, they're going to allow him, just like the spoiled child that he is, that's trying to be an adult, that have the nerve to say that anyone who's in that state need to get up out of the country, the only country that they know. And I'm going to pause there because I don't want to go in, but tomorrow it won't be for the weak of heart. And they'll be at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Well, I definitely will be chiming in. I definitely will be tuning in, because I have some things that I would like to say, because I've been watching a lot that's been happening, even in the great, even in Washington, D.C., Atlanta, and a lot of the major cities when it comes to homeless. But people got to fail to realize that every homeless person is not a drug addict, and they don't have mental issues, that there's other circumstances that lead people to homelessness. So to say that they need to check into a drug program, yeah, we got a lot to talk about on tomorrow. So I definitely will be chiming in. And Huni, thank you for stopping by and sharing that with us. I encourage everyone to tune in tomorrow night. And y'all, we got caller number 5 in queue. Caller number 5, if you would, please state your name and where you're calling from, please. Caller number 5, state your name.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. This is Brian Fagan. Will be a new intern at BNN starting September 9th. I just want to call and give some support and listen to what's going on this end of the media world and all of the service that you do. So I appreciate getting on the call and listening to all your guests, and I look forward to plugging back in at another time.
Well, thank you for stopping by and sharing, and good luck on your intern. And what's your why? What is your why?
What's my why?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am the acronym king, so I'm going to give you a couple. What's your why? What's helping you? What's hurting you? Who's holding you? What's hindering you? And what's helping you? So my why for what I do is
I am trying to get people to die with dignity in front of their children and grandchildren all around them so they can transfer gene rational generational wealth. And wealth is when everyone accepts life through him.
Wow. So I can see that your shows are going to be powerful. Wow.
Yes.
Well,
I
thank
have
you.
about 300 acronyms, so they come out when I need them. It's my gift, so I thank God for it. I just want to spread some more truth, love, humanity, and just contagious joy. That's all. We need it in this day and time where so many people
Yes.
are having mental health challenges. They're trying to figure things out. So I just look forward to sewing into the network and being a blessing.
And I can tell you one thing that you and I have in common, and that is acronyms.
Go ahead.
God definitely deal with me with words. And I think the very first time I came on the network, he was dealing with me with that word life. And there was a question that I was asking everybody: Are you loving more, or are you inspiring someone? Do you have the fear of God, and are you educating and empowering and encouraging the next person? If you're not, then you're not living life. And that's what he dropped in my spirit. And he deals with me with words. He would break ordinary words down to 5 and 6 sentences, and I'm just grateful. So that's one thing that we have in common. Go ahead, brother O, Dr. O.
Well, first of all, I hire no bums, Dr. LaDonna Marie. This young man is going to be outstanding for our network. I've been waiting a long time for this man, and we have the opportunity now for the spot on our network. So I'm so glad to have Brian Fagans on, and I'm telling you, we start good trouble here at this network. Shout out to the late great John Lewis. I cannot wait for this man. I'm telling you, Angela, WBNN is fantastic.
Amen. Amen. I can definitely account to that. And y'all, we got caller number 6 in queue. Caller number 6, if you would, please state your name and where you're calling from.
Peace. It's Sham God Power Hill. I'm from Power Hill, but I'm calling from somewhere else. How you doing today?
All right. How are you?
I'm all right. Just called in to show a little love and support. What we talking about today?
Purpose. And what is your why? What is your why?
My why is to correct the conditions of the original man, not just in my neighborhood or in my household, but around the world. That's the duty of a God. And I don't think I ever called into your show before, but my name is Sham God G Allah. And they call me Sham God Power Hill because I'm from Power Hill, which is Philadelphia. But I'm a 5%er, nation of God that hurts. And we teach that the black man is God, and we teach the knowledge of self to anyone who's willing to listen. But our main focus is the babies, because the babies are the greatest. Whereas though the elders, they get older and they transition. The babies, they just get older and they become the future of our nation. So it's important that if I want to see a good future, that we teach the youth good lessons. So that's my why, 100%.
And when is your next show?
Hey, Brother O, chime in for me. Dr. Brother O, please. I believe it's
Now listen, of course, tonight we're here, starting good trouble, and that's what we do on a constant basis. So this young man, who I esteem highly and I love, his show is going to be on the 26th of August, right here on the great BNN.
Wow.
2-6 and back in the mix.
So we have some, as you can see, we have some amazing hosts that are a part of this amazing network.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's going to be the 28th. I apologize. The 28th of August, right here on the great BNN.
All right. Well, I definitely will try to
catch me on the 26th.
28th on a Thursday. Wow.
Yeah. Power Hill, you're gonna be on the 28th. Man, what a great show. Go ahead, Angie, and give final thoughts to your wonderful guest. Hey, Doc, you something else. You know what I mean? You something else, Dr. LaDonna. You know what I mean? From another doctor to another doctor. You know what I'm saying? Coming from the great Ngozi.
Yes.
Thank you.
She is definitely amazing. Like always, I just enjoy being in your presence, being in your company. You definitely have a lot to share and a lot to pour out. Um, before we get ready to go to Ngozi time, I would love to hear your final thoughts that you would like to share. I always ask, what is something encouraging or inspiring that you can leave with the listeners?
Okay. I'm so glad that you asked because every time I get an opportunity, I want to charge them to know that you are a unique individual who was created for an absolute purpose that only you can do. There are other people that may do things that are similar to you, but you are original and you're one of a kind. And so I want each and every one of you all that are listening to find that purpose and to go after it and to make sure that you make life great and to be successful in all that you do by first believing in yourself.
Amen. And again, if you could please tell them again how they can reach out and support you.
Okay, so you can get connected with me at my website. I do have a contact form, but you can go to www.ladonnamarie.org. Also, I'm on Facebook under LaDonna Marie. Also, LaDonna Marie Books is also my page. Follow me on Instagram under I am LaDonna Marie _. And if you would like to get an autographed book, just go to the shop page on my website, which is www.ladonnamarie.org shop, and you can get that autographed book mailed to you to encourage you, to uplift you, and to help you on your journey. Thanks again, Queen Angela. Thank you, Dr. O, and thank you for everyone who called in just to show love. And I just want to wish each and every one of you all the best on your show.
And thank you. I definitely will be trying to chime in and check out your shows. And definitely probably going to send some people your way. Because that's what I do. That's what I like to do. But y'all, it is Ngozi time.
Well, first of all, I want to thank all the folks that counted that robbery. First of all, the great doctor, LaDonna Marie. Love to see Black excellence. Sounds like me. Anyway, that's not my point. But my point, I'm glad to see Dr. LaDonna come on this outstanding show tonight and carry it. We're supposed to have two guests, but it is what it is. And guess what? Angela Thomas Smith knows how to carry a show. She knows how to interview. She knows how to, present and include. That's her greatness. That's why she is who she is. And tomorrow night we come back on this outstanding WBNN with a Lifetime Achiever to said Academy. Dr. Huni Bakatun, the great rabbi on our network, we will aware you tomorrow night at 9:30 Eastern Daylight Time at Beverly Nation. But also join the 2024 WBNN Newcomer of the Year and political and historic exoneree for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the only man that was exonerated, first man that be exonerated for DNA in the state of Pennsylvania. His name is Vincent Moto. That's going to be at My Precious Network, part of our ONE Universe at 8 o'clock. Both at Talk Shoe Radio. And of course, WBN Communications Advertising, to Ngozi Time, Multimedia, Instagram, and X, on Twitter, all I got to believe it goes to Facebook. Any comments, suggestions for one for program tonight? Olay.lay.com. I am your mother and father's favorite producer, Dr. LaDonna Marie Ngozi, afforded by the University of Michigan and Colgate University, and Lonnie and Debbie's baby boy saying good night and good luck to all the folks out there on Force Radio support us on a constant basis. Now look at the exceptional accuracy test. But before I go there, Congratulations to Angela Thomas Smith on her 72nd WBN All-Time Connection record and 9th consecutive with the Darlene Lawrence Championship, honoring our late great Hall of Famer. And now to exceptional accolades. The 2023 Anna Waddell Award winner for excellence, the WBN Communications Host of the Year, but an Excelsior. The 2023 International Internet Radio Hall of Fame Broadcasting enshrinee young lady from Anderson, South Carolina. The wonderful and outstanding CEO also of the Crew Podcast, part of the tree of the great Beverly Nation, Angela Thomas Smith.
Wow. Well, first off, I want to thank Dr. LaDonna for gracing the platform on tonight. Definitely would not be able to walk into my 72nd all-time connection in my 9th consecutive without you and those amazing individuals that are tuning in tonight. So thank you all for being a part of the WBNN Beverly Nation. I tell you, I truly enjoy being a part of what is taking place over here and for having the opportunity and the platform to do just what we do, and that is to be the change that we desire to see in this world. Again, Dr. LaDonna, thank you for being my special guest on tonight, and I wish you much success in all that you touch. May you continue to impact lives around this great nation. And for all those that are tuned in, thank you for tuning in. Again, it would not be possible without you guys. So thank you all for being a part of WBNN Beverly Nations family. Thank you guys. And guess what? I will see y'all back here on September the 17th. Y'all be blessed. I love y'all. Have a great night.
Your line has been disconnected.